Do you wish that there was just one video that answered all of your questions? Chances are this is that video. Hi, I'm Allie. I'm on a fantastical weight loss journey and I'd love to take you along for the ride. I am going to be doing rapid fire question answering of the most asked questions in the support groups. So let's jump right into it. I'm going to be looking at my sheet of questions here. So if you see me looking over there, that's where the screen is. Okay, most commonly asked questions. Is being cold normal on Mounjaro? Yes. If you'd like to know the scientific reasons for this, then you're more than welcome to research it. But basically it has to do with the processes that are happening in your body. And definitely as you lose weight, you will be colder. You will have less fluffy insulation. Okay, I took my first shot of a new dose, whether that's 2.5 or moving up in a dose. I'm so sick, how long will side effects last? So for the majority of people, side effects last between 2 to 3 days after they take their shot. Now, there are some instances where it lasts a little bit longer, or there's a specific side effect that lasts a little bit longer. I know that when I was on 2.5 and I was just starting out, I did get a couple of days in a row, maybe like 3 or 4, where I was getting a headache, but that went away. And most of the side effects go away the longer you are on a dose. So keep that in mind. I was on 2.5 for 13 weeks. And by the time I reached that 13-week mark, I had had multiple weeks of 0 side effects. It was lovely. I miss those days because now I'm on 5. So yeah, so just keep that in mind. The longer you're on a dose, the more your body will get used to it and the easier it's gonna go on you. Okay, 2 weeks in on Mounjaro 2.5, it's not working. Can I jump up to 5 or 7.5 to speed up the weight loss? So if you have all of these things that I am about to mention, then you can do that. If you have 1 week that you can take off of work, if you do not have children or pets that you need to care for, if you have enough money that in the bank that you can afford to go to the hospital and stay there for a week, then sure, you can talk to your doctor and consider moving up in dose like that. I don't recommend it. I've seen quite a few people in the support groups do it, even though people told them not to, and most of them ended up in the hospital. It's just not a good idea. Remember, these pharmaceutical companies did the research and the testing to figure out what dosage worked best, right? So that people could get used to it as they move up. And if you're skipping doses, right, you have to remember going from 2.5 to 5 is already doubling the amount of medication that you're going to be getting. So if you're going from 2.5 to 7.5, that's just redonkulous. Also, it's not going to speed up weight loss. I know that there is this very common misconception that the higher the dose, the faster you will lose weight. And that is a very common misunderstanding of the studies that they did on this medication. So were there many people who lost weight at higher doses? Yes. And they lost more weight at those higher doses? Yes. They were on those doses for a longer period of time, right? So it would be like me saying, oh, I was on 2.5 and I lost 38 pounds, but I left out the part where I was on 2.5 for 13 weeks, right? So if somebody was thinking that I just had 1 box of 2.5, right? Because people have a tendency to move up every month, which by the way, I think is a terrible idea. So they would see that and read it and go, oh my gosh, she lost 38 pounds in a month, right? But that's not what happened. I was on 2.5 for 13 weeks. So moving up in dose is only beneficial to you if you are not having success at the dose that you're on. And you also need to make sure that you're doing everything that you're supposed to be doing right? Eating in a calorie deficit, making sure that you're exercising, making sure you're doing resistance training, right? So you're not losing muscle. I have a video that's specifically all about that if you'd like to go check that out. So yeah, moving up in dose or skipping doses, not a good idea. Please don't do it. Okay, inconsistency in a single dose of meds. This is a good one. 1 week, they have appetite suppression and a few side effects. The next week, it feels like they're injecting water with no suppression at all and no side effects. So people, again, are under the misunderstanding that every week should feel the same on this medication. And there are so many factors that can change that. Your injection site, the dose that you're on, are you moving up in dose? Did you just recently move up in dose, right? So the way that the medication is absorbed in your body plays a huge part in how you feel. It's not like other medications that you may be used to, for example, a blood pressure medicine or a birth control medicine, right? So you take the medication, it builds up in your system, it's working, you're good to go, right? And there's certain level of consistency. You may need to up your dose depending on what it's for. But with these medications, they're working on your brain, they're working on your digestive system. There are a lot of components at play here and a lot of factors that can change your experience from week to week to week. So some weeks may be better than others. And some weeks may feel like, I don't even know why I'm doing this, right? Because you feel nothing. That is common and it's okay. So just keep that in mind. All right, next question. Can I eat pizza or fast food on this medication? So this is a complicated question. Can you? Yes, technically you can. Do I recommend it? No, especially if you are in the first 3 months of your weight loss journey, because many times, and for many people starting out on this medication, if they eat those foods that are high fat, high sugar, they overeat, right? What happens is they get very sick. And if you'd like to see my video on that, go to my week 3 on 2.5 update where I talk about what I did and how I got sick, because it sucked and you do not want to do that to yourself. So use those first 3 months that you're on the medication, whichever one you're taking, to really focus on making healthy choices, simplifying your diet, tracking your calories, right? Maybe incorporating some exercise or some resistance training along the way. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, but just get yourself started in the right direction. Give yourself that foundation and you can build from there. And the rest of your journey will be so much easier if you do that. And then what many people do is, yes, they include those types of foods, for example, fast food, once they've been on the medication for a few months, right? Maybe they've gone up in dose and they've gotten used to it and they're doing well. But again, you want to be focusing on tracking your calories, right? Making sure that whatever it is you're eating, whether it's a healthy food or a fast food, that you're accounting for those calories. Because remember, it doesn't matter if you're on this medication and you are in a surplus of calories, you will gain weight. It's not a magic pill. It's not a magic shot. If you do the opposite of what you're supposed to be doing, you will not lose weight. So please just keep that in mind. When do you start to feel the effect of the medicine after the shot? This is another one of those subjective things. So for me, I can start feeling it anywhere from 20 minutes to an hour after I take a shot. There are some people who don't feel it until 24 hours later. There are some people who don't feel any different at all for the first, 3 doses that they're on. They feel totally normal. They don't have any appetite suppression, no side effects, no nothing. And there are some people who don't have any side effects, who do lose weight, and they feel nothing as well, their entire journey. So it really just depends on the person. But if you don't feel differently, it doesn't mean that it's not working. It just means that you are one of those people that don't feel it. Okay, how much water do I need to drink? This is a big one. Hey, Kevin. This is a big one. I've seen people say the most ridiculous things in the support groups about water. Listen, you need to be hydrated. I highly recommend that you put electrolytes in your water at least once or twice a day, but you do not need to be consuming hundreds of ounces of water a day. Like, people are just out of control. If your urine is clear, you're probably doing too much. If it's slightly yellow, you're right on point. If it's dark, you may want to talk to your doctor about that, or you may not be consuming enough water. So, people get hung up on this. How much water do I drink? How many ounces? Take your weight, divide by this number, multiply by this number. No. Just calm down. You do need to make sure that you're hydrated. You need to make sure you're drinking water. You probably want to limit drinking calories, right? Which would be like full sugar sodas and things of that nature. But if you're doing a zero sugar electrolyte drink and you're getting, anywhere from 60, 40, 80 ounces of water, right? And you feel good and you're not feeling thirsty, then you're probably doing just fine. You don't have to get crazy with the water. Which leads me to my next question, which is how much protein do I need? This one is a little bit trickier for me to give you advice because, again, it's very much based on the individual. Protein requirements for women is slightly different for men. Men, it's slightly higher. So what I recommend is that you get on the tdeecalculator.com and you put in all of your information. Make sure you select sedentary, whether you're doing exercise or not, select sedentary. Go down to cutting. There's a little tab at the bottom that says cutting, and that will show you your calorie deficit. And then keep scrolling down and it'll give you recommendations for proteins, carbs, fats, and it'll give you a couple of different options. But you should not be just arbitrarily picking a number out of the blue because some Joe Schmo on the internet said you need 120 grams of protein. Or take your weight, divide by 2, multiply by 20, and then turn it upside down and stare at it, and then that's your number. No, please don't guess. Put it in the calculator. That will give you a close enough estimation to get you started. And then as you go through your weight loss journey, right, you adjust it as you lose weight. Don't get crazy with protein, okay? People are like killing their kidneys just getting crazy with protein. I saw somebody the other day that was like, I went to a nutritionist and they told me that I need to get 215 grams of protein. I was like, I hope you can get your money back because that's insane. If you're not a bodybuilder, like going into competition, you do not need that much protein. If you are not heavy lifting, you do not need that much protein. It's just crazy. Okay. Do you need to be on a specific diet for this medication? Keto, carnivore, intermittent fasting? No. And I'm going to say it again for the people in the back. No. Ideally, you want to be on a balanced diet. The whole point of this medication is that it makes your body function properly. That's the beauty of this. That's why we love it, because it works. If you could do keto before and lose 100 pounds and keep it off, then you wouldn't need this medication, right? No, you don't need keto. Definitely don't do carnivore. And it doesn't need to be, you don't need to restrict yourself. You do need to heal your relationship with food. You do need to make healthy choices and prioritize protein, but you don't need to go on some fad diet to lose weight. You need to remove that thought process from your mind. Balanced diet. You need protein. You need fat. You need carbs. None of those things are the enemy. I know that many, many years of diet culture has ingrained in us that fat is the enemy, carbs are the enemy. I'm here to tell you, I eat protein, I eat fat, I eat carbs, I'm down 50 pounds. It's about being in a calorie deficit, moving your body, and making healthy choices. So please do not go on some fad diet. Okay, can you drink alcohol on this medication? You can. I wouldn't recommend it. There are a lot of people who get violently ill if they do. Or they drink, and because of the delayed gastric emptying, they literally feel nothing. So they paid $15 for a cocktail, they feel nothing, and they feel like it was a waste. To me, it just doesn't seem worth it. But for those people who are usually asking that question, they are the ones who have a glass of wine with dinner every night. And, you know, if you want to try it, my recommendation is that you try it on a weekend, so in case you're sick, right, it's on a weekend and you don't have to work. Side effects. Am I going to be sick all the time? I feel like giving up. I wish I had $1 for every time this was posted in a support group because I could retire. So, am I going to be sick all the time? No. Now, if you are having serious side effects, if you are having abdominal pain, if you are having constipation lasting more than 3 days, right? Like serious side effects, pain in your back, like you need to read the label that comes with your medication. If you're having serious side effects or you are violently ill all week until it's time for your next shot, you need to be talking to your doctor because that's not normal. Now, can you feel fatigue for, a couple of days after your shot? Yes, absolutely. I had that happen to me. You just have to decide, are the side effects something you can deal with for, 8 months to a year so that you can lose your weight, or is it too much for you and you need to try something else? I will throw in here that if you are having bad side effects and you're on Mounjaro, many people have switched to Semaglutide because it's, Wegovy, same thing. Because it's like the next step down, right? It only has one component, whereas Mounjaro has two. So many people make the switch, and vice versa. Some people don't do well on Wegovy or Ozempic, and they switch over to Mounjaro, and they have no side effects, and they're happy. So you've got some options, but you really need to talk to your provider to figure out what's best for you. I'm not losing weight on 2.5, but other people do. Is that normal? Yes. Not everybody loses weight on 2.5. Not everybody loses weight on 5. At the lower doses of your medication, those are what they call non-therapeutic doses. They're basically designed to get your body used to the medication so that you can get up to, right, higher doses and have success without being violently ill and end up in a hospital. So some people do not lose weight on 2.5. Some people are hyper responders and they only use 2.5 for their entire journey. There was a lady who posted in one of the support groups. She was on 2.5 for 12 months and lost 116 pounds. And she never had to go up in dose. It just depends on your body, right? With this medication, there's a lot of that. It really depends on the individual, but the best thing you can do is not compare yourself to other people, because that would be a recipe for frustration. Okay, what is the average weekly weight loss on this medication? So 1 to 2 pounds per week is normal and healthy weight loss. Now, you will see sometimes when people are first starting out, especially on Mounjaro, on 2.5, that first week or 2 or even 3, that they have large numbers. That was the case with me. I did have some large numbers in the beginning, but it very quickly levels out. Hey, Kevin, okay, stop yelling. it very quickly levels out to anywhere from 1 to 2 pounds per week. So, and that's normal. You don't want to be losing 5-6 pounds a week. That's not healthy, and you're not going to be able to keep the weight off. How do you deal with people who say that taking the shot is cheating? This is really going to depend on the person. So if you are the type who is non-confrontational, or if you are dealing with somebody that you work with, I highly recommend that you just don't talk about it. Don't talk about it. If people bring it up, if people ask you what you're doing, just tell them diet and exercise and move along, especially if you're talking with people at work. Don't forget, people at work are not your friend. I know you think they are, but they're not. So you can avoid a lot of controversy, right, with that. Same with family members. If you wouldn't tell them about your diarrhea medication that you have to take because you got food poisoning and you had real bad diarrhea, if you wouldn't normally just blurt out and tell them about that, then I don't recommend that you tell them about this, right? It's a medicine. You're treating a condition. It's not any of their business. Now, if you are not one of the previous mentioned people, if you are like me and you want to sing it from the rooftops and tell everybody you know, great, go for it. If somebody says, oh, that's cheating, then ask them what medications they take. But that's just if you're sassy like me. If you're not sassy, please don't go that route, right? Because it can get rough very quickly. But the point is, it's a medication, right? Your healthcare, your health, your weight loss is only your business. It's not anybody else's business. You're not required to talk about it. If you want to and you feel comfortable and it's not going to upset you if somebody says something negative about it, right? Well, you're just stealing the medication from diabetics. If that's going to bother you, then just don't say anything. You'll be so much happier. If it's not going to bother you, go to war. That's what I like to do. Okay, so what is the difference between, okay, we've got a couple of these. What is the difference between Mounjaro, Zepbound, Tirzepatide? Nothing. They are all the same medication. So Tirzepatide is the name of the medicine that is in Mounjaro and Zepbound. Mounjaro is for diabetes. Zepbound is for obesity. Tirzepatide, often referred to as Tirzepatide via compounding, which we're going to talk about in a minute. All three are the same thing. The doses are the same medicine, even in just the Tirzepatide via compounding, all the same medicine. Okay? We don't have a generic on the market yet, so it's just Mounjaro, diabetes, Zepbound, obesity, Tirzepatide, usually referred to as in reference to compounding. Okay, Ozempic, Wegovy, Semaglutide, same thing, same guy, different names. So Ozempic, right? Diabetes, Wegovy, weight loss, Semaglutide, often referred to as Semaglutide for compounding purposes. Same guy, different names. Okay, name brand versus compound versus peptides. Now here is where we get a little bit different. Name brand, we know what that is, right? That's the medication that comes direct from the manufacturer. It comes in an injectable pen, right? We know what that is. And then compound, this is that same medication mixed with another component to assist in times of shortage. We're actually having one of those shortages right now. They had one last year. I think they've had one ever since it came out. It goes in phases. So is compounding FDA approved? Yes. Otherwise, they wouldn't have it available for human consumption. So it is FDA approved. It's not the same as being approved like name brand, right? Because they have copywriting, they have right? They have a certain amount of time frame that they can have the medication, and they don't have to create a generic, right? There's a whole bunch of that just goes into that. But compounding is the same medication. In order to make sure that you are getting compound medication from a responsible FDA pharmacy, excuse me, FDA pharmacy, you need to make sure that you are looking at their third-party testing. You need to make sure that you're doing your research. You're not just buying off some Joe Schmo on Facebook that says, I got Mounjaro in stock. Are you looking for some Mounjaro? Right? And they open up their jacket and they got pens and they're like, yeah, send me this over Venmo. Send me Cash App. Right? And then your money just disappears. Don't do that. Okay? That's not safe. Also, do not go to a local med spa. I'm going to do a whole video on compounds, so we'll get into that more. Peptides. Peptides, there is zero research. We have no idea what it is. We don't know what we're getting. Don't do peptides. Some companies offer them in conjunction with compound medications or name brand. Please, before you start taking anything, talk to your doctor, okay? Because some of these peptides, the claims that they make, this is going to liquefy your fat and make you a hottie in less than 3 months, and it costs all this money. You're not going to need liposuction. We're going to name our peptide after liposuction, right? No, don't do that. Let's be smart, people. Okay, so that's name brand, compound, peptides. Got to be careful. Again, I'm going to make more videos on compound here coming up soon. I've been doing all the research, so stick around for that. Will protein drinks and protein snacks keep me from losing weight? This is the most recent one ever since every gym bro has gotten on TikTok and said that protein drinks and protein snacks are terrible and they got all these bad ingredients and that's why you can't lose weight. Listen, I take a protein shake every day, sometimes multiple times a day if I'm not feeling well and I can't eat. And I lose weight just fine. I lose 1 to 2 pounds every week. So that's garbage. Please don't listen to people online that are saying stuff like that. If you are flipping through YouTube or TikTok and you see somebody walking through a grocery store, and they're talking about how these foods are terrible for you or this is bad for you, just do me a favor, just keep scrolling. Don't even stop and look at it, because half the time what they say is absolute garbage, okay? And I'm used to analyzing ingredients because I'm a canine nutritionist. So I'm used to reading ingredient labels and knowing what those things are and why they're bad for your dog. So if these people are just like, woo, I don't know where they get their info from, but it's definitely not even Google. So no, if you want to use protein shakes, protein snacks, protein powders to help you on your weight loss journey, please do, right? Has anyone had better results on a specific injection site, whether it's arm, thigh, or abdomen? So better results is really subjective. If they're talking about fewer side effects, statistically speaking, the thigh has the fewest side effects. If you're talking about maximum weight loss, it's usually stomach statistically, but each person's an individual, right? You're going to have to test each site and see how it goes for you. For example, for me, when I was on 2.5, I tested all the sites because I wanted to know how the side effects were going to be different so I could kind of plan out the rest of my weight loss journey. For me, arm was a definite no-go. I had so many headaches. I had so much nausea, sulfur burps. It was horrible. I did arm one time. I will never do it again. Abdomen. I do go around on abdomen, right? Around the belly button. I switch it up to there from time to time. I do notice, for me, more nausea when I do that. But you know, the weight loss is pretty good. But for me, it's the same weight loss as with thigh. And with thigh, I have much fewer side effects. So, you're just going to have to test it out and see what works best for you. But statistically, thigh has fewest side effects. Okay. I took a break from my medicine for surgery because of a shortage, because of something that was going on in my life. Can I start back on the dose I was before? This is tricky. Okay. It's really going to depend on how long the break was, because once you reach that 2-week mark, you can really start to feel the difference. So it's going to depend on how long was the break and what dose you're on. So I highly recommend that you talk to your doctor about that. When can I refill my meds? So this is something that you're going to need to check with your insurance on. And I see people ask this question all the time. It really depends on your insurance and what their requirements are. Some insurance companies are every 28 days. Some insurance companies make you wait until you've already taken that last dose, and then the week after that, they'll let you refill it right before your next dose is due, like 1 day beforehand. So check with your insurance company, or you can ask your pharmacist, hey, it should tell you how often they're allowed to fill it. I have an event, vacation, birthday, cruise, something going on coming up. Should I skip my dose? So I see this all the time. Part of how this medication works is that it builds up in your system. And part of why people ask this question is because they want to be able to eat and drink whatever they want, however much they want for said event, right? Birthday, vacation, going on a cruise, and they don't want to have to deal with side effects. So can you skip a dose? Yes. Are you going to pay the price when you get back on it? You might. So you definitely want to talk to your doctor about that. The way I feel about it is I do not skip my medication for anything. I know the longer I am on a dose, the more of a dose I take, the better things get, and the closer I get to not having side effects at all. So for me, personally, it's not worth it to skip a dose. For example, I didn't skip at Thanksgiving when everybody was asking about skipping. I didn't skip at Christmas when everybody was asking about skipping. Now with Easter, here we go again. Everybody's like, can I skip my dose so I can eat whatever I want this weekend? You really have to change the way you think about food and social gatherings. And I have videos on this, so if that's a topic that you're interested in, please go check that out. Okay. Can I lose weight on the med without exercise? Yes, if you are in a calorie deficit, you can definitely still lose weight if you are not exercising. I did not exercise in the beginning of my weight loss journey because I was 50 pounds heavier than I am now, and I didn't want to absolutely wreck my joints, right, or potentially injure myself trying to exercise. Keep in mind, walking is exercise, so that's a really good option. So please be careful about exercise. Now, the one thing you should be doing is resistance training, even if it's just with some resistance bands, right? Or you can see my little weighted ball back here I keep on my desk. Should be doing that so that even if you're not exercising, right, you're still keeping that muscle tone or even enhancing your muscle tone so that you're not losing muscle. Because while you can lose weight and never exercise on this medication, if you are in a calorie deficit, you will get to be what is, lovingly referred to as skinny fat, where you're skinny, but you have no muscle, so you just look real jiggly. So please keep that in mind. Do I have to change my diet and lifestyle to lose weight? Yeah, if you want to be successful long term, or you want to come off the medication, yeah, you're going to have to change your diet and lifestyle. Think about it like this. Whatever you were doing before didn't work. Eating whatever you want, not tracking what you're eating, not learning appropriate portion sizes, which, let's just be honest, like the American diet, our portions are insane. You can literally go to any fast food restaurant and order what would appear to be a reasonable amount of food, and it could be an entire day's worth of calories, right? Like, we have to learn all of these things. We have to relearn nutrition and healthy choices and healthy lifestyle, right? So that once we reach our goal, we can maintain that healthy weight that we reach, right? Whether we stay on the medication or come off of it. So yes, you do need to make diet and lifestyle changes. Now, going back to the previous question about, do I have to exercise to lose weight on the med? There are a lot of people who do not make lifestyle changes, do not make diet changes. They just rely on the appetite suppression. And let me tell you, as somebody who has done extensive research, and is very, very active in the support groups, I can tell you that 9 times out of 10, those people post when they come off the medication and they are gaining the weight back in big chunks, 20, 30, 40 pounds at a time. So just keep in mind, if you are relying on the appetite suppression for you to lose weight, then you're doing yourself a disservice. Do the work, heal your relationship with food, and let the medication help you reach those goals by making your body work properly. Okay, when do you titrate up and dose? Eli Lilly is going to tell you that you should do it, according to their plan, right? It's like 2.5, and then the next month you do 5, and then right? They have a whole schedule. What I have learned through research, and what I think they will change going forward, is that the longer you are on a dose, the better you feel. And as long as that dose is working for you, you do not move up. So like I said earlier, I was on 2.5 for 13 weeks before it stopped working for me. Essentially, all the appetite suppression was gone, all the side effects were gone, and I also stopped losing weight. So, and the food noise was back, that too. So, so when do you titrate up? I would say whenever a dose is not working for you. I would give it a full 4 weeks on that dose. If you do not see any improvement and you know that you're doing everything that you possibly can, this is the key point. If you are not tracking your calories, exercising, staying hydrated, prioritizing protein, if you're not doing those things, and you're going, should I titrate up because I haven't lost any weight? Then my answer to you would be no, because you don't know where you are. You're just winging it. And if you're just winging it, then you don't know what you need to fix. The dosage may not be the problem. It may be a surplus of calories. It may be that you're not exercising, you're not moving enough, right? So you really have to look at what it is that you're doing. And that's how you can know with certainty when it's time to move up. I know I'm tracking everything I'm eating, I'm exercising, right? I'm staying hydrated, prioritizing protein. I'm making healthy choices. I'm staying in my calorie deficit. I know I'm doing everything right that I'm supposed to be doing. So if I'm on a dose and it's not working and I'm not losing weight, I know I have reached a point where my insulin resistance is pushing back and I need to move up in dose, right? So that's really the key of knowing when to titrate up. Why is protein so important on this medicine? So there's a few reasons. One, you want to maintain your muscle mass. The easiest way to do that is through protein. Two, it is often burns more calories, right, for you to break down protein. 3, protein will keep you fuller longer, right, so you're more satiated throughout, so it'll last you until your next meal. But really the reason why people push protein is so you're not losing muscle mass. Do you have to stay on the med for life, or can you lose the weight and come off? Yes, you can lose the weight and come off. There are some people who will have to be on the medication for life, whether that's in a maintenance dose or, you know, get off of it for a little while, come back onto it for a little while, depending on the condition that you're taking the medication for, right? We're all different. You may find that it's a lifelong medication for you, and that's okay. That's okay. You may find that you can lose the weight and get off the medication, in which case I highly recommend that you know, kind of titrate down and give yourself time to get off of the medication. Don't just cold turkey it. Or your insurance may kick you off of it completely, in which case you don't have a choice, right? You just get off of it. So if you found this video helpful, please give me a thumbs up, give me a like, consider subscribing. I've got more videos like this on the way. I've got those compounding videos coming up soon, so keep an eye out for that. And don't forget, be kind, rewind.